We're now in MDM Props. It's a place where they produce sculptures, produce works, because this space is amazing, and I'm producing quite a few works outside my studio. And this is a big permanent work. It's for Ålesund, a coast town in Norway. A permanent work from, it's going out in a harbor. So it also ends like a lighthouse nearly. It will be some light in the end. So it's a light sculpture, will be in the ground, cut in the ground. And I think the place is a bit like a dead-end street place in Norway. So if I was born there, I would have this need to go out, go somewhere. So I very much thought about that. So it'd be a 17-meter track in the ground with footsteps actually. So it looks like walking in snow. And it's like white marble. It's called Jesmonite. So last time I was here, I performed it and I did it in clay. But I could never cast this myself in my studio. So now we will see here. Wow. Hi. God, here it is. Wow. God, it's beautiful. You know what it will be? It's just, and it will be like that light from the side. Wow, it's really beautiful. It's like, you know, the crystals in the snow. And it has this marble feeling. And then I will have this light from one side, 17 meters, under a glass lid. So this will be down in the ground. And then with that, oh, you see every detail of the footsteps. It's a bit like moonlight in this, you know, or the low winter sun in the Arctic, when the snow, when you have the very low sun or moonlight, you get these shadows in the snow. Oh, it's really beautiful. I think this is nearly better than I imagined. I thought I had to do a lot of post-production, but now they cleaned it with acid, and it's when I look at this, I get a feeling of snow, and that's what I really wanted. I lived the life until I was 29 not being an artist, and I struggled more then than now being an artist, because my capital, or what's important for me is to do what I want to do with my life every day. So personally, I can't say it's any struggle being an artist. We all know financially it's up and down, that's a reality, but it's my choice that they choose to be an artist, and for me that's the only way I'm happy in my life. My own work is, first of all, with technique I work very different with large sculptures, sketchbooks, writing, drawing, painting, and in a way I just made a new book, and I see all the works have to deal with how to find balance in the world we're living in, both politically, personally, and yeah, I think it's about balance. I trained in a circus school, so that was very interesting to see how this is about finding balance. I did acrobatic, and I think I learned a lot from that, to manage, you know, it's not about power, it's about balance somehow. And I think this training was something that influenced me all the way through. So it's still about looking for balance. An idea is based on the thought, and it can come anywhere. It can come in the middle of the night or on the train, and then it's always good to have the sketchbook nearby. And it's not about being in the studio and then an idea comes. It's just an idea comes just by living again, living, being alive in the world we're living in. And it never stops. It's just more and more and more. To work as a visual artist, it's like I'm not an author, I'm not a composer. I work with material. And the material can be, it has to do with the work. Art is not about the painting itself, it's about the world outside the painting. If you think concrete about that, my paintings doesn't have any frame, they're open edge. And I like both in film and video, whatever I do, to work with the edge of something, like in life. Puberty is a theme that keeps coming back in my work. I revisit it, and it's a very interesting stage in your life. I think this, when you are it's very fragile, as being a woman and you are in your puberty. And of course, it's Edvard Munch's work, which I copied as a young girl, with a big, huge shadow behind the girl sitting there on the bedside. It's about being fragile and naked in a mental, and Munch makes it in a physical way. And it's something that personally as well, I feel now I'm in my fourth puberty, you know, again and again you go out in this world and it's something that, a theme that I worked with in film, painting and in writing, and where I am. And life for me has been very much in chapters, quite special chapters. And now I feel it's a new chapter, so it's a new puberty. My video work, Puberty, I think it's from 2000, was made when I came to London, and I saw all these young girls on the tube sitting with the big headset then, listening to music. And it was very similar to Edvard Munch's girl, Puberty, but she had big eyes. She has big eyes, but you know, lots of girls have the hair covering their face. So I made in my studio, staged, very much related to his painting, the colors and everything and the light, and asked a young girl I knew if she could choose her favorite music from 2000. And that's the length of the film. It's 5:29, a drum and bass piece. And we don't hear it, but we can just her a little bit, like from her headset. She's tapping her finger and the foot a little bit from the music. So it's a very 2000 pieces. I often use music and fashion in my work. You don't see it in the end, but it's there. And you can kind of get the feeling of the sound from that time. It was also very beautiful to do that work, and kind of because Edvard Munch is very much on your shoulder as a Norwegian artist. So it was great to, hello Edvard, here we are in year 2000, and now I do my Puberty. I think it was Rilke that said something like, beauty is the beginning of terror that we're still just able to bear. It's something when things are really beautiful, like love, or everything is perfect, you know. It's on the edge to something can happen. And I think that being the puberty and the beauty of this young body is also that what can happen next. And it can happen to us any time in life where we feel with puberty and we feel we're just really happy. It's very interesting that you ask about the work. What can I do for you related to, we just talked about the work puberty, because here and now I discover they have a lot in common. We see a male body, very intimate, he's naked, puberty, she's naked, and the camera is focused on this part of the body, and it's quite abstract in the beginning, but we slowly see it's a penis there, and it's some moving around his sex, and then slowly we see also in the film is something really white, and it's a cloth. Is she cleaning sperm from his body, or is she actually just cleaning him, taking care? Is it a care thing instead of a sexual thing? So it has this double thing there. Again, about the beauty is the beginning of terror that we're still just able to bear. We don't know really what she's doing there with her hand and what kind of circumstances he is there under. You know, we don't really know that, I think. 10 years ago, it was quite criticized by a major gallerist I work with. I think to see this, I think of now, is also the man there is not very strong. His penis is half hard, soft, so it's not so sexy piece in a way. And you know, that's also, if you work with a gallerist, you know, and they just said no, that piece. And then I knew it was good, so I just kind of kept it in the drawer. And time is also material in itself. Time as material. Of course it's a strong piece, it's a beautiful piece, I know it. It is based, I think every artwork is personal somehow. Even Edvard Munch, back to him, said that, every artwork is personal. But for me it has been a lay that is not private, so I don't have to tell my private story about it. Although I have an ongoing discussion with myself, how much you should, you know, so the private and personal, how much you should tell. And I very often admire artists as well that are very private, but I am what I am, and I think in this case I'm not so. I won't tell more than I tell now. Is a very strong personal experience, which I think is actually more or less behind every work of art. The oil painting, Teenagers Lifting the Sky, is in a way to honor the youth as well, like puberty. I think it's just a really fascinating time to being a teenager, and it's so much energy in that, and I believe so much in them. They are the future, so it's in a way to honor the youth and the future, and I trust them. Since 30 years I've just been writing titles or poetry, someone called it poetry, and Teenagers Lifting the Sky was there in my sketchbook, and thanks to that the painting developed. Sometimes I can do a work which I don't really understand, and then I get a title and suddenly it's a work, or the opposite. And in this case I remember Teenagers Lifting the Sky was written on the wall in my studio, and I love looking at that. I think it's so positive, and they will make it, they will do it. And from that title, from that line or poem or whatever you can call it, it could be a song title as well, but it happened to be a large painting, 5 meters. That painting, Teenagers Lifting the Sky, is installed really high on the wall. So I'm very aware of it. It falls very natural for me how I install a work, if it's related to, you know, this part of the body or this part of the body or your head, or you can't reach it. So it's all about, in a way, the installation or the performance of the work performed in a way, and that will influence the onlooker in a way. I think, perhaps not, they're not so aware about it, but I'm very precise, the height and how I install the work, whatever it is, video or painting or sculpture. The sky is something I worked with a lot in my life, from very, very early on, in silkscreen prints and photos, and because it's that, you know, if you look up, it's always this space that's not touched by anything. It's a canvas in a way. So, and this works, untuned bell, or that bell, you have to look up, and the whole sky is a canvas for the bell. It's the sound in the sky. So it's something really uplifting and positive, and it's just all this shit around you and all what's happening, and you look up and it's just the sky. And that will be there, you know, forever. I think the center of an artwork is a meeting between a work and the onlooker, and that can be anywhere. It's nothing about center or periphery, it's that moment. It's like if you read a book and that sentence might change something, what you do next. And art is part of that kind of language, and it's wonderful that it can cross borders and age.